This is VOA News. Reporting by remote, I'm David Byrd. President Joe Biden on Wednesday asked the U.S. intelligence community to redouble its efforts to investigate the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. AP's Sagar Meghani reports.
The Biden administration for months minimized the possibility that the virus originated in and then escaped from a Chinese lab. In a statement, the president says most of the intelligence community says there are two likely scenarios: a lab accident or the virus naturally spreading. Spokesman Karine Jean-Pierre says he's giving intelligence officials 90 days to keep investigating.
To dig a little deeper, to double down.
While pushing the Chinese to cooperate, the president acknowledges the virus's origin may never be known, given Beijing's refusal to fully work with investigators. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
An employee opened fire Wednesday at a California rail yard serving Silicon Valley, killing 8 people before ending his own life. Authorities said the suspect was an employee of the Valley Transportation Authority, which provides bus, light rail, and other transit services throughout Santa Clara County, the largest county in the Bay Area. Law enforcement officials identified the shooter as 57-year-old Sam Cassidy. At a news conference, Santa Clara County Sheriff's spokesman Deputy Russell Davis said that the employee who opened fire took his own life.
I can confirm with you that deputies did not exchange gunfire. And right now, we're going to preliminarily go with the assumption that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Investigators offered no immediate word on a possible motive. The shooting took place Wednesday morning at a light rail facility in San Jose, next door to the sheriff's department and across a freeway from the airport. For more on these stories and the rest of the day's news, visit our website. This is VOA News. A court in The Hague on Wednesday ordered Royal Dutch Shell to significantly deepen planned greenhouse gas emissions cuts by 45% in 2030. Reuters' Gillian Kitchener has more.
The ruling comes amid rising pressure from investors, activists, and governments on energy giants to shift away from fossil fuels and rapidly ramp up investments in renewable energy. Judge Larissa Alwyn read out the first of its kind ruling.
The court orders Royal Dutch Shell, by means of its corporate policy, to reduce its CO2 emissions by 45% by 2030, with respect to the level of 2019 for the Shell Group and the suppliers and customers of the group.
The lawsuit against Shell was filed in 2019 by 7 groups, including Friends of the Earth Netherlands, on behalf of more than 17,000 Dutch citizens who say Shell is threatening human rights as it continues to invest billions in the production of fossil fuels.
That's Reuters' Gillian Kitchener. The mother of a U.S. Capitol Police officer who died after the January 6th insurrection is urging members of the Senate to vote in favor of a bipartisan commission this week. AP's Jackie Quinn reports.
With a procedural vote soon to take place in the Senate and expectations, there won't be the needed 10 Republican votes to pass the measure. Gladys Sicknick made a plea for their support to investigate the truth of what happened at the Capitol. Her son, Officer Brian Sicknick, died a day after violent confrontations with rioters. Mrs. Sicknick said congressmen and senators who are against this bill should visit her son's grave at Arlington National Cemetery and think about what their, quote, hurtful decisions will do to those officers who will be there for them going forward. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has called on Republicans to block the measure, accusing Democrats of wanting a commission to litigate Donald Trump's involvement. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Memorial Day usually marks the beginning of the summer travel season in the United States, but as AP's Rita Foley reports, that might be different this year.
Air travel within the U.S. is nearly back to 2019 levels, pre-pandemic. But what about international travel? The U.S. still bars most visitors from Europe, China, India, Brazil, and some other countries, too. The State Department calls most of the world's countries high risk. Even U.S. citizens returning from international travel have to pass a COVID test. But the travel industry is running out of patience with this. Spokeswoman Tori Emerson Barnes pointing out more people are getting COVID shots and the infection rate is decreasing. She says it's critical for the economy to reopen international travel. I'm Rita Foley.
Reporting by remote, I'm David Byrd, VOA News. This is VOA News. Reporting by remote, I'm David Byrd. The United States will share the results of a new deep dive by its top intelligence agencies into the origins of the coronavirus pandemic that has killed millions of people across the globe. Before boarding Air Force One for a visit to Cleveland, Ohio, Thursday, President Joe Biden told reporters he would make the findings of the 90-day review public unless there's something I'm unaware of. Biden ordered the fresh review Wednesday amid growing speculation that COVID-19 might have leaked from a Chinese laboratory, with the White House promising to make additional resources available, including from the country's national labs. China hit back at Biden's move Thursday, accusing the United States of playing politics and avoiding its own responsibility in calling for a renewed investigation into the origins of the pandemic that emerged in China in late 2019. President Joe Biden is set to unveil a $6 trillion budget proposal for next year, which would include his infrastructure and jobs proposal, along with new government spending that would further swell the federal deficit. We get more from AP's Jackie Quinn.
President Biden's budget blueprint will incorporate the $2.3 trillion infrastructure proposal, the $1.8 trillion American Families Plan, and $1.5 trillion in new spending for the Pentagon and domestic agencies. But scheduling a major budget rollout on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend is raising speculation. The timing might be to downplay news that the deficit would run up $1.8 trillion, despite a host of new tax increases totaling more than $3 trillion. Under Biden's plan, the public debt would exceed the size of the economy and soon eclipse record levels of debt relative to gross domestic product that have stood since World War II. I'm Jackie Quinn.
This is VOA News. Officials in Mali say the country's interim president and prime minister have been released one day after they resigned while in military custody. The military arrested interim President Baynedal and his prime minister Mokhtar Awan on Monday in the capital Bamako, triggering a fresh political crisis in the troubled West African country. Vice President Colonel Assimi Goïta has effectively taken power in what amounts to Mali's second coup in 9 months. Mali has been in turmoil since then-President Amadou Toumani Touré was toppled in a military coup in 2012 that led ethnic Tuareg rebels to seize control of several northern towns, which were then taken over by Islamic insurgents. France deployed forces to repel the insurgents the following year, but the rebels have continued to operate in rural areas. Tens of thousands of people fled the city of Goma in eastern Democratic Republic of Congo Thursday, fearing another volcanic eruption by Mount Nyiragongo, which spewed lava near the city last week. Traffic was jammed and pedestrians streamed through the streets, desperate to escape the impending danger. The military governor of Congo's North Kivu province announced early Thursday that a new eruption could occur at any moment. He ordered the evacuation of 10 of the 18 neighborhoods in the city of 2 million people. Mount Nyiragongo, one of the world's most active volcanoes, spewed torrents of lava into villages on the outskirts of Goma Saturday, destroying more than 500 homes and killing more than 32 people. The volcano's last eruption was in 2002 and left hundreds dead. Jobless claims in the United States fell to another pandemic low. We get details from AP's Jennifer King.
Weekly claims for unemployment are down again. Thursday's report from the Labor Department shows applications for unemployment benefits dropped to 406,000. That's down 38,000 from 444,000 a week earlier. It's a sign the job market is improving as virus cases decline, business restrictions ease, and more Americans venture out for entertainment, shopping, travel, and dining. A record number of jobs are now being advertised, but many businesses complain they still can't find enough applicants. The unemployment rate remains 6.1%. Most Republican governors have decided to curtail unemployment aid, and 24 states, including Texas and Florida, have said they'll stop paying out the supplemental $300 a week federal jobless payment beginning in June. Jennifer King, Washington.
A mixed day on Wall Street with the Dow Jones Industrials and the S&P 500 up, but the Nasdaq off slightly. The Dow gained 0.41%, the S&P added 0.12%, but the Nasdaq lost 0.01%. Reporting by remote, I'm David Byrd, VOA News.